We have some big news to go over today as we have multiple Jays updates to go over. As not only do we have several updates surrounding reinforcements coming the Jays' way, but we have one surrounding Alek Manoah that is extremely encouraging. But we also have the Jays making moves. They have made one move official, marking the end of a very interesting era. We're going to break that down in this episode as well as a few other things, folks. Before we get to it all, you guys have been absolute beasts with the support lately. If you want to help us towards our big goal of 20,000 subscribers, make sure to hit the subscribe button, folks. There is a lot to go over today. Now, obviously, the Jays are in a very interesting spot right now. They're in the middle of a very important stretch of games. And not only are they making moves, we have some big updates. And let's dive right into it here. And let's start with the move and just get it out of the way. Now, it isn't a big move. I covered it briefly on a video, but in case you were wondering, it definitely went under the radar for some people. The Jays released now officially as of yesterday Spencer Turnbull per the club's announcement, and he was DFA'd on Wednesday to make room for Max Scherzer. So he of course was DFA'd, and there's times where you clear waivers after DFA, you get sent down to the minors. The Jays have decided to officially just part ways with Spencer Turnbull and just release him completely. So they don't want to pay him, and they don't want to have him in the AAA team. And again, he could easily decline the AAA options, probably the most likely outcome here. But folks, the Spencer Turnbull era is over, which means they are showing a lot of support in Max Scherzer, who's going to be starting on Wednesday. A lot of support on this Blue Jays, pitching staff in general, Eric Lauer, and ultimately the experiment didn't work. A guy who played really well for the Phillies last year was not able to contribute this year, and unfortunately, the era for Spencer Turnbull is officially over. Like, there's no way he's going to come back up and even rejoin this team. So, folks, it was a good one, but let me know down below what your favorite moment of the Spencer Turnbull era was this season, because it's been an interesting one, especially given the fact that the Jays have been dealing with pitching struggles all season long. So just a quick tidbit there. He's officially released as of late last night. But folks, let's dive into some of the huge updates we have here. We also have some interesting stats surrounding Ernie Clement to go over later. But let's start with the big one here, and probably the one I'm most excited about, and that is Dalton Varsho. He is starting to run a little bit more and should be running the bases soon per John Schneider. And Anthony Santander is still not swinging or hitting. So a few different things to go over here, but let's start with the positive before diving into the negative here. So Dalton Varsho, he's running a bit more, and again, he's going to be running the bases soon. So we've been covering it on the channel a lot. We've been kind of keeping you up to date with the daily updates here. I guess it's once a series, we basically get a big update dump. Dalton Varsho is in a very unique situation because the Jays are at a point where they're playing so well. They could really, of course, use his bat specifically in the power, but they have one of the best outfielders in baseball defensively in Miles Straw, who that stats back it up, playing really well. And they're in a luxurious position to where they don't have to rush, Dalton Varsho at all. Like, he is an animal. He is fantastic, but you don't have to rush him. And he's starting to run more. I'm expecting a mid-July return. And we think back to when the injury happened. I said, if he can come back by July, that would be, it seems late, but that would be ideal. It seems like that's around where it is. Will he be ready for Canada Day? No, I highly doubt it, but he is going to be ready very, very soon. And on the flip side, for Anthony Santander, he is still not swinging or hitting. So this must be one of the craziest shoulder injuries I've ever seen. He's not even swinging his bat yet. He's going to be out for what I assume is a number of weeks more. And there's two different sides of that. You could be happy because the Jays are playing so well without him, or sad because obviously this is the big free agent acquisition, and maybe he can come back late in the season and really give a spark to this team down in August and September. But boy, oh boy, is it going to be an interesting one to keep up to date with him. But again, he's not even swinging the bat yet. It's been a bit of a disaster for Anthony Santander, and one that, hopefully he'll be able to start, recovering here soon, because as much as fans probably have gotten a sour taste in their mouths regarding the first little bit of his Jays career, have him for 5 more years, or I guess 4 more years after this year, and he has the ability to be a very, very good starter at the, a very good position player at the major league level. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. Some very positive news and some more negative news as well. But let's dive into a couple other things. Just want to kind of point this out there. I know Vladdy played yesterday. He looked fine, but this was the update prior because, of course, he was ruled out of the lineup to start, then got added back in. He looked really good yesterday. Doesn't seem to have any lingering, soreness, but we'll see if he's in the lineup today. We assume he will be. But again, his form was doing better, a little bit sore gripping the bat. He got treatment. No imaging was necessary. No x-rays. After they came back negative, no following, x-rays or anything like that. He's good to go. He's going to continue to play. Just wanted to throw that in there because, of course, just in case you guys were wondering, even though he did play in yesterday's game. But let's dive into some more reinforcements that are on the horizon here for the Jays, and that is in the form of Yimi Garcia. He struck out the side in his rehab appearance with Dunedin Blue Jays on Thursday, so a couple nights ago. He only threw 18 pitches, touching 97 miles per hour. He is scheduled to pitch for the AAA Buffalo Bisons on Sunday. Could rejoin the Jays after that. Folks, guess what that lines up Yimi Garcia for? It lines him up for the bullpen against the New York Yankees starting on Monday. And of course, the Jays play on, I believe it's Monday. The Jays play either way. They play on Canada Day on Tuesday. And, that's the big series. It's going to be I believe it's Carlos Rodon, and then it's going to be Max Fried. So it's back to back. And it's going to be an interesting couple of games there. They do play Monday. Of course, the series opens because they're in the middle of their 16 game straight stretch. So they start on Monday, and they play, I believe, Carlos Rodon and Max Fried. So it's going to be interesting. So Carlos Rodon Monday, Max Fried Tuesday. And I mean, that's going to be a tough pitching matchup. But for the Jays hitting staff and their pitching staff, if you can get Jimmy Garcia back for the Yankee series, that is going to be beyond crucial for this team because you need as much bullpen help as you can against Aaron Judge, against some of the guys they have over there. And that's why you need to win. It's why you need to win as many games in this Red Sox series as you can, because you need to have a cushion in case the Yankees, turn up and Aaron Judge, the best hitter in baseball right now, ends up going off. Like, he can win the Yankees a series, right? So you need to win as many games as you can before, of course, you play that one. And having Jimmy Garcia back for that is going to be absolutely crucial. And of course, one of the goals was to have Verso back for the Yankee series, but we're fine without him for now. Jimmy, on the other hand, need him back as fast as humanly possible to help with this, specifically the bullpen that, although has been rested pretty well with the way these starters back-to-back shutouts for the Jays, obviously can use some help there. And let's dive into the big Alek Manoah update now, because this one is another doozy here. So he's scheduled to throw an inning or two of live BP, or 2 innings rather, next Tuesday in Florida. He threw 25 pitches over an inning last Tuesday. Manoah will throw at least one more live BP the following week. After that, folks, the Jays can begin to build out a rehab assignment timeline. Folks, we are getting in the depths of Alek Manoah's return here. And of course, he needs to have his rehab assignment. But after the rehab assignment timeline, and once he actually starts rehabbing, he's going to be close to games. And my prediction before the season, throughout the season, has remained fluid. August, I truly believe in Alek Manoah. I think he looked fantastic before going down with his injury, last year. And I think for specifically Alek Manoah here in the Jays, if you get him back August for, the end of season push, or I guess, the over the halfway point, season push, you get him back, you get Santander back, you get some reinforcements back. The Jays are playing elite baseball without one of their, arguably their best bullpen arm, without their best center field, or rather their best outfielder in general. And they're still winning so many games. And that's the encouraging thing about the way this team is played. You need to add some of these guys in. If you get a starter at the deadline, which we assume they will, you add Alek Manoah to that. Then you surprisingly go from no depth to a lot of depth, especially with, Max Scherzer, and depending how he does, maybe they rock some, piggyback days of Alek Manoah and then Max Scherzer coming in. Like, there's a lot of ways they can go about this, folks. And it's going to be interesting to see how they actually handle Alek Manoah coming back. Also, one quick note about Francis as well. He's starting to play catch again. I don't think he's going to be a factor really going forward. And it's kind of funny how that works. Of course, he's been really bad. I don't think they're going to rush him. But if you have, Max Scherzer looking really good, they're not going to change Eric Lauer for now. He's been dominant. You need to, it's almost funny because Eric Lauer is the Bowden Francis of this year, a guy who randomly is having a fantastic year. And I think that keeping Eric Lauer in is going to be absolutely crucial here. And if Max Scherzer continues to play well, maybe you have Bowden Francis as the long man out of the bullpen, for Max Scherzer. Like, that's possible, but it's going to be interesting, folks. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on all this. A ton of new reports, a ton of new things are dropping, and we're going to keep you up to date with all the latest. I mean, there's just a lot of news here, so this is the place to be. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. One tidbit here, folks. The Jays are officially 2 games up on a wild card spot. So vibes are high. Got to continue to take care of business against an AL East rival. This team feels different. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Cheers.